Hi everyone, this is the best build of Season 7. I already made a guide on Mobalytics. I will put the link in the description. Today we're gonna start about the starter build, and I wanna make a little showcase of the builds we're gonna do go in pits 100. It doesn't matter how high the pit is. 100 right now is very easy for me, and the gameplay remains the same. Either you're level like 60 in T1 without enough gear, or if you're Paragon 200 like me right now, the gameplay is roughly the same. So, how strong is the build? The build is that strong that right now I can just play with one hand and one button. But obviously, if you wanna optimize the build later and push the pits, it can get really complicated with the skill rotation really fast. But this video is the starter video. I will try to keep it very simple for you. And I will just explain the core mechanics. How do you play this build? How do you get this build started? So we're not gonna... I'll try to not confuse you and enter in all the detail, because as I said, the build can get very, very complicated very quickly if you wanna go high. But if you just wanna push the pits like speed farming a pit 100 and not pushing to pits 150, you can literally just play with one buttons. I have very good gear already. 8 hours into the season, I think, I was playing with my friend, and on the Necro we were already able to one-shot T4 boss like Juliel. So this build is just like crazy. If you remember Spiritborn of Season 6, this is the Spiritborn of the Season 7 and without any bugs. This is just crazy. You just walk, you press one button and everything just dies. And yeah, this is just crazy. It's probably one of the best builds I've ever played. Before we continue this video, I wanted to make a big shout out to my friend Lord Xora, with who I talked a lot about this build. He is playing Necro for a while. Amazing Necro player. I will link his YouTube in the description. Definitely check him out if you wanna learn more about Necro build and Necro in general, because like he's just amazing. He knows the Necro very well, so definitely check him out. I'll put the link in my description. But yeah, so this build basically, if you don't wanna try too hard, you're just gonna press Bloodwave, which is your ultimate skill, and watch everything dies. As you can see, when I press my Bloodwave, every time I press my Bloodwave, my cooldown resets, and there are this little red orb in the floor that you will have to pick. That's the only hard thing to do if you don't want to try hard and just play the build and chill. You just have to press one button and make sure to collect the orbs on the ground. I will explain that a little bit later in the video, so you will understand everything and why we have to do this. Now the boss. Yeah, just one tap the boss, hit 100. This is like 30 hours into the season. I could do that like around probably 15 hours already. I can go over my gear quickly, but it's not very relevant because right now we are doing the starter version. I'm trying to get the endgame build, endgame gear for my build. I can't get the same gear right now, so this is what I'm using right now. For example, I have Shaco, but I don't have Heart of Perdition for the moment, so that's what just I'm using right now to give you an idea. But you don't need that much gear to do what I just did. Like, you can literally do that without a regular chest, a regular helm. I just don't have them anymore while I level. I just salvage them, so the amulet is pretty good. But yeah, this is like already very optimized and you don't need to go that far. So the question that I get asked a lot on stream is, when can I start play this build? Like, every person that joined my stream is asking when can I start playing this build, what do I need to get it started, and fortunately I get all of this in my guide here. You need three things to start the build. You will need Kesim's Legacy, the pants. You really need these pants. It's new from Season 7 to be able to play this build. That's gonna be dropped on Lord Zia. You can fight Lord Zia. Let me check. I will show you. It's here, the Darkened Way. You will need Exquisite Blood. We found a lot of Exquisite Blood by leveling during our leveling journey. We were farming the new events, and during the new events, you're gonna get a lot of bloods. And basically, when you reach T1, you're just gonna rush to Lord Zia and try to get the pants. I played with friends, with 3 friends in a group of 4, so we could like get summon the boss 4 times, and luckily I got the pants, so I had the first piece of the gear to get it started. Secondly, you're gonna need Tidal aspects. Unfortunately, this aspect cannot, like, it will just drop randomly from, you're gonna slay monster, you're gonna get legendary, and you just hope to get the aspect. This one is really, really important. I don't think you can play this build without Tidal aspect, unfortunately. And yeah, but if you level with the new event, you should probably drop it, salvage it, and get the aspect. For Fast Blood aspect is different, is the aspect from your codex. So you can get the lowest version of it. This is your codex of power. Fast Blood aspect you can get level 1 of 21, and I think is Iron Roll. Iron Hole is a dungeon here. So you just enter the dungeon, you complete the dungeon, and you will have Fast Blood. So when can you exactly play this build? You cannot level with this build not from 1 to 60 because this build plays around Bloodwave, and when you level 1 obviously you cannot start with this skill. You need to go through all your skill tree to be able to get to this build. So this is a build I would say to play when you are like in T1, already level 60, you have a few Paragon level already, maybe 50, 60, level 50, 60 Paragon point, and you should be able to start this build if you have this free thing here. Otherwise, I don't think you will be able to play with this. The question I get asked is also, what do I level with from 1 to 60? The answer is it doesn't matter. I level up with Minion because it's the easiest build, it's the fastest build for Necro to me to level with Minion. Unfortunately, I don't have a guide. I do think leveling is very easy now in Diablo 4. You just play in normal mods. What build to follow? Just pick your favorite content creator on the Necro, type leveling Necro Minion, and I think any guide will just be good enough for leveling. So yeah, do that and you should be fine. Then you get your free thing here to get the build started and you will be good to go. I will now explain to you how this build works. I will not go into the detail because this is just a starter build. I will probably make another video about the endgame version, maybe one speed farming version for endgame and one pit pushing, but let's keep it simple. These builds play around Bloodwave, as I said. If you don't have any aspect, like if you don't have a Fast Blood here, if you don't have the pants, and if you don't have Tidal aspect, this is what one Bloodwave looks like. That's it. You press once, the cooldown is very high, and you have to wait to press it another time. The thing is, with Fast Blood, when you pick up the orb left on the ground by your Blood Wave, here, this gives you DR, and here, when you cast one Blood Wave, that's gonna leave 6 Blood Orbs that you're gonna pick up, and that's gonna reset your cooldown. But you want to be able to cast Bloodwave as soon as possible. That's why you are going to need Tidal aspects. That's why you're gonna need to temper Bloodwave to deal double damage also. But Yeah, you wanna have tidal aspect. Why? Tidal aspect gonna help you because it's gonna cast its two additional wave. It means you cast once, it's gonna become 3 in total. That's gonna leave even more orbs on the ground. And in addition with fast blood, you're just gonna cast your blood wave, and then you're gonna pick up the blood orb. And as you can see, my cooldown is going down. That's how you're resetting the cooldown of blood wave. And with the pants, your blood wave now not gonna go straight, but it's gonna go on you like this. And you can just pick up the blood orb around you like this. But very important on the pants is you get blood wave cooldown reduction. That's gonna help you a lot. Right now it's 12 seconds. Without, it's 33 seconds. That's huge. Like, as I said, I have a Shaco, but you don't even need the Shaco because you go from like 12 to 8, but it doesn't really matter. Like, let's see without Shaco, you just cast once, you run around a bit, you pick up the blood orbs, and you're good to go. You don't even need the GA, as I said, like this. If you have enough blood orb, that should be more than enough. But you really need the synergy between tidal aspects here, that's gonna cast 2 additional wave, fast blood aspects, and the pants to make it optimal. That's why, as I said earlier, in the build you need this 3 parts to make the build going. Here we go. That's how it works. You might also wonder why I always overpower. Overpower is orange number. Yeah, why it's always overpowering? The reason is pretty simple. This is synergizing with your ultimate passive Ratma's Vigor. After being healthy for 15 seconds, your next blood skill. This is a blood skill going to overpower, and the timer is reduced by 2 seconds each time. Blood orb heals or overheal you for 500 of your life, and that's why we are collecting the orb here. As you can see, we have 15 stacks, so it's gonna overpower, alright? But if we don't have 15, yeah, I did not have 15, you see, it's not going to overpower. So it's very important for you to always, when you cast your blood wave, to pick up the bloods up on the ground. Otherwise you won't overpower and you won't deal damage. Like really your damage, you don't deal damage if you don't pick up the orb. That's the only tricky part of the build, if we can say that. But you probably gonna make it. Picking up the blood orb on the ground is not too hard, I think. So yeah, I will go through my gear, not the actual gear because it's already not the starter version. I will explain to you in the starter version the gear that I tried to hunt for, the aspect that I use to make it as easy as possible. So on the gear, on the helm, you want to have cooldown. As you can see, if you have more cooldown reduction on your blood wave, that's going to be a lot easier to reset your blood wave. On the aspect, you use hardened bones. That's going to allow you to have more toughness. You can have a little bit survivability problems during the starter version of the build because you don't have everything yet. You are not armor capped, you don't have all resistance caps, so this aspect is really gonna help. You're gonna get intelligence, max life. Max life is our most important stat because max life gonna scale with overpower damage and you're always gonna overpower. So keep in mind that maximum life is probably the most important stat that you're looking for. On the chest, I changed it. On my guide I had something else, like I think it was explosion mist, but I noticed that during my leveling I had a big problem with armor, so I just replaced it with juggernaut aspect. As I said, maximum life, intelligence and resistance to all elements, because I had problem with element resistance too. On the tempering, you temper armor on both. Maybe you don't need that, but to make it sure, I just put double armor temper. Lucky hit, stun, or the second one doesn't really matter, just temper, whatever you prefer. I put lucky hit chant to stun, but it doesn't really matter. On the glove, We have an aspect of Ultimate Shadow. You don't really need that aspect. Basically, that's just gonna put the skill tag Shadow on your Bloodwave, and that's gonna unlock a lot of passive that's gonna give you a lot of damage, but this is more an endgame aspect. If you have it, just put it because the skill tree is made to synergize with shadow damage. But if you don't have it, it's not a problem. Early on, you don't have Hair of Perdition here. I don't have it with Critical Strike and GA here, so I'm using Shaco. I got a lot of questions, but Hair of Perdition is better than Shaco. Maybe Shaco is gonna be great if I put Speed Farming variant in the middle here. I don't know yet, let's see. But yeah, you wanna have more critical strike chance because if you critical strike chance, you just deal more damage. So you go for crit chance, maximum life, intelligence. I put the GA in case you're wondering what you should be looking for, but it doesn't really matter GA or not. It only matters when you want to push high in the pits. I temper corpse tendril size. It's just very convenient when you want to push high in the pits, but during the starter version, it doesn't really matter. Offensive, temper, damage well fortify is very important. If you don't have it, you're gonna lose some damage, but it's not very important because the damage you deal is just insane. So why is it important? It's because Bloodwave's damage is increased by 30% of your damage while healthy and while fortified. And that's just a straight multiplicative damage. That's why you wanna temper it. Just keep in mind that it's just a lot of damage if you can get it. If you can't, it's okay. Then depends. The only GA that you want is the cooldown reduction. That's gonna really help a lot. If you can't have it, it's still gonna work even if you don't have it. If you wanna start masterwork, you masterwork Bloodwave cooldown reduction. That can help if you masterwork your gear to like let's say 4 or 8 to 12 masterwork, but it's not a must. That's it. For the boots, you want to have maximum life. Movement speed, you want to have a lot of movement speed because the Necro is very slow usually. You can't teleport, so you want to have a movement speed if you can. Maximum life, intelligence, you want to temper movement speed against, and utility. Cursing size is also very cool to have. I slapped here aspect of Curse Aura to make your life easier. Curse Aura is basically this. So you don't have to cast your Decrepify. Yeah, this is Decrepify. Decrepify is always around you and you don't have to cast it, so that's just here to make your life easier. Like you don't really need it, but you just slap the aspect, it's cursing everything around you, you don't have to think about it anymore, you deal more damage, it's gonna help you with the cooldown a little bit, not too much early on, but it's still great to have. So yeah, I just use it because it's very chill to play. On the weapon, you wanna have a two-hander with maximum life, GA in priority. I don't have that, I think I have intelligent, but maximum life is better. If you can have 2 GA, it's even better. You want to have a mace, because a mace is gonna have overpower implicit damage. You want to temper Bloodwave to deal double damage, because all your damage comes from Bloodwave. Offensive damage while fortified, because it's a multiplier that gives you a lot of damage. On the amulet, as you can see, I don't have fast blood on my amulet, but early on, when you don't have a very good fast blood, I recommend you to put that on your amulet. That's gonna help a lot with your cooldown. But I think I put that somewhere. Yeah, here I explain to you, like, if you have a good aspect, you can put that on your ring, and you can switch with sacrifice. But it's up to you. On the amulet, I know this amulet is very hard to get. What I had for my leveling, I just has intelligence, move speed, and life, I think. It doesn't really matter if you can't have the passive. The passive just gonna give you more damage. Just try to get intelligence, move speed. The tempering is for more damage. You're also gonna temper armor for the endgame. Like, I know you already have armor, but as you can see in the endgame version, it's the same amulet. I just make it easier for you to make the transition. So look for this amulet. It's gonna be with you from your leveling to your endgame if you can. Yeah, as I said, if you have a very fast blood, you just switch with Sacrificial aspect here. You just switch both, you put Sacrificial on your amulet and you put fast blood on your ring, and that's gonna help you with your damage. On your ring, you wanna have maximum life, intelligent crit chance. Oh, I have to change that, by the way. So this is not. I mean, you can keep cooldown reduction, but the best is to get a Blood Orb Restores Essence in the end. I will explain a little bit later to you why this is better. But yeah, on your ring you wanna have life, intelligence, crit chance, because you don't have enough crit chance in the early mid game. So critical strike chain, maximum life, damage, resource on Blood Orb Restore Essence. On the second ring, you want to have that aspect. You can have grassland aspects. The grassland aspect basically give you more critical strike damage and more crit chance when you use Corpse Strangel. I decide to not use it, so you have to press less buttons. It makes the gameplay a lot easier for you. I decide to put Vehement Brawler's aspect. That's just gonna give you more damage and you don't have to think about it. Lucky hit chance to make enemy vulnerable for 2 seconds, very important for the endgame. If you don't have it early on, you can just replace with intelligence. You can get intelligence, max life, attack speed, it doesn't really matter. You also wanna temper ultimate cooldown reduction to help with your cooldown and offensive damage. If you really struggle with your cooldown, you can just temper 3 times ultimate cooldown reduction on both ring and the amulet, and later on you're gonna change your gear and look for this. But that's what you are trying to get to optimize it fully. And yeah, that's it for the gear section. Let's check the runes quickly. I'm using Bach and Gar because as I said, I don't use the Grassman aspect. I'm losing crit here, but it's a lot easier and chill to play without, so you don't have to press Corpse Strangel a lot. Where is it? Here I have Bach and Gar. Every time you travel 5 meters, that's gonna give you more critical traction. That way, you just run and you don't have to think about anything. You have your crit chance, you don't have to cast your creeps to your Corpse Strangel and you have your crit on. You just run and you can play with only 1 button. I really like this. But yeah, this is a pretty lazy version of the build. And the second rune that I use is Igni and Cax. This is more like a very late mid game, I would say. You don't really need those runes very early. That's just gonna give you more damage. Like you're gonna store offering, then when you cast a non-basic spell here, it's gonna trigger it, then you're gonna have this, that's gonna deal 100% increased damage. And the thing is, I temper here Blood Orb when you pick them up, that's gonna restore your essence, because when you cast the spell, your next skill will consume all your damage resource. This one, when you cast your next skill, that's gonna take all your essence. And it doesn't say it on the tooltip, but if you have more essence, it's gonna deal more damage. The tooltip doesn't say that, but trust me, it's how it works. That's why we temper this here. But as I said, if you struggle too much with your cooldown, just temper ultimate cooldown reduction. I know it's very hard to get the rune early on, so if you don't have them, you can just use any other generator. I think I use Yax or Sem with Gar early on before I loot a Bach, because Bach is very hard to get. But yeah, just try to get Bach. If you don't have Cax, you can also use Watt. You can use Zan and Watt. Every time you cast your ultimate, you only cast your ultimate a lot, that's gonna decrepify and execute them. Even though you already have your aura around you with these aspects, and you don't have to think about casting Decrepify, the rune's gonna unlock Horrid Decrepify that's allow you to execute enemy below 10% alive, and your aura just gonna have both basically. You're gonna have this one, this upgrade, and this upgrade if you use the Rat rune. That's why you use the Rat rune to have both. But yeah, the rune doesn't really matter early on. Just give you some option to play around. Potion and incenses very important to level your Paragon and during the mid game. I use Elixir of Fortitude, max life, because you scale your damage of overpower with maximum life. That's gonna give you more XP. And on the incense, I'm gonna just use this one to have more life. It's the same principle. And the incense bonus does not stack anymore, so I just use this one. You can use the other one, you can use the one that give you intelligence, and the other ones that give you all stat, I think. It doesn't really matter, I just use those two incenses personally, but yeah. Now, Mercenary, I personally take Rahir. Where is Rahir? He is here. So I take this one, this path to get more old resistance, but it really depends on what you need. Like if you need more armor, if you need more like old resistance, that's really gonna depend on you. I'm needing more old resistance right now, so I was taking this path. But if you need more armor, you can just take this path here. This one give you more damage, but yeah, you have two different paths. You pick the one where you need the resistance from. I personally need elemental resistance, so I pick this path. It's up to you. I think it's in the mobility guide. Secondary, I use Alkin. I have Flame Surge with Obstruction, I think. It's Bloodwave. But it doesn't really matter. I think that's also on my starter guide. The starter version. On the late one, I don't know yet. I will update it as soon as I know what I'm gonna use, but yeah, that's it for the Mercenary. For the Witchcraft, I got a lot of questions too about that. I'm using Urging Touch, Soul Harvests, Hex of Whisper, Horror Siphoning, and Specialization. I haven't looked Piranado yet. That's the question I get asked the most. Where do we find Piranado? We finally found the answer, but the first day of streaming, no one's know, and the answer is just do Nightmare Dungeon with... Get lucky, basically. You do Nightmare Dungeon and you're gonna find an altar, and you're gonna unlock the Witchcraft, but like so far, it's like super rare. Like not many people have found it, I haven't found it yet. But yeah, so far, as I know for the moment, I don't know any other way to get it. So yeah, just do Nightmare Dungeon, get lucky, find an altar. I guess you can find that in the pits yet. I have a friend that has found that in the pits. But yeah, I don't really know. I also get question about how do you upgrade your Witchcraft? You upgrade them with Restless Rot, and I try to upgrade them. Let's say this one is at rank 5, it gains a bonus. So I upgrade all of them to like the rank that gives a new bonus. This one is rank 10, this one is rank 5. For example, I would upgrade it to rank 5, this one to rank 10. And yeah, that's how I did, basically. And yeah, that's how you upgrade your Witchcraft. That's my strategy. To get the Restless Rods, you have to do the new event. And yeah, I haven't go deep into the detail of the skill tree and the Paragon because it's more like a starter video to get you started. I don't really want to confuse you. I think the video is already too long. Like, that would take me too long to explain the skill tree and the Paragon, like why you use Blight, why you use Decompose, like basically you get more damage from Blight. I would have to explain the whole skill rotation of the end game that you don't really need for the starter. Like for the starter, you just need to remember to press your Bloodwave and to pick up the orbs. Like why this? Because it's synergized with Reaper's Pursuit, Darkness skill. Like if you have more on your skill bar, you're gonna have more damage. Many stuff. I can talk about Plasmid a lot. That's just a flame shield of the Sorc. You press it, you can go through enemy, you can pick up the orbs, you are unstoppable and invincible. Very cool spell, panic spell. But yeah, I think we're gonna do the skill tree and the Paragon in another video. That's the Paragon board. I have it on Mobility also. This is the starter Paragon board. Starter build Paragon board. That's how we do. It's not complete. It's gonna be the same as the endgame one. I'm probably gonna put the rest of the points soon because people are gonna get to this point soon. But yeah, that's gonna be for another video. And that's it for me today. I hope everything was clear. I hope you're gonna enjoy the build. That is truly the strongest build of Season 7 as far as I know. I don't think there are any build that come close to that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave me a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next time, probably for a video about mid-speed farming build and pit pushing probably. Take care, see you.